Welcome into Henry's, guys. Presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I'm Neal. That's Chase. If you don't know us by now today.
God help you.
Yeah, good. If you don't know us by now, you just don't care. It does sound like superhero music. I'll change it up next week.
That did kind of, didn't it?
For Halloween, but I kind of like it. It wakes me up a little bit.
Why do we not have anything on TV?
That's a hell of a good question.
What are we doing?
It's been a day, Chase.
I know.
It's been a day. I'll if you'd like to get the remotes and hand them to me while I pay some.
Where are they?
They're on the big thing right there. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. 662-801-1777. If you live in the Oxford area, Tupelo area, go to Comer. Thanks, sir. If you live in the Hernando area, Memphis, DeSoto County, that area, call Southern. Same great products, same service, same people, just different names. 662-429-4429 for them. Guests will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. You know about Rafters, right there on the square in Oxford. Be a great place to enjoy burger, po' boy, great beer selection, full bar. The bar would be the big thing right now. Would just be the bar.
It would be the bar, yeah.
Full
bar.
It would just be
liquor, beer, cocktails, the works, whatever do you need?
Be the whole. Would you like something to eat? I don't really care.
Do I have to order something to eat? Yeah.
Yeah. You know how to get to ESPN on that? Are you looking for ESPN? Is there any?
Got it right.
Okay, good. I was making sure.
I mean,
trying to take care of you.
We're learning.
Is the Braves game tonight?
Yeah. They have Game 5 tonight.
We'll get it on too. Let's see. We got a lot of content up at rebelgrove.com, MPW Digital. Mute that before somebody has a fit at YouTube.
It's hard to hear, though. But YouTube will strike us if they hear any music
if they hear
their ability to find it. Whatever they use to be able to do that is fairly phenomenal.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got what all do we have on the site? We have our show from earlier today. We talked to Jarrell Poe. We talked to Mike Espy. It's a really good show, if I say so myself.
Yeah.
Had some technical issues. It was a bit of a nightmare, but we got through it. You'll never know. Then Zach Berry and I taped a soft verbal, and about 35 minutes into it, power just went completely out.
How'd you handle that?
You'd have been proud of me.
You didn't throw anything?
I didn't. I just looked at the screen. I realized the power was out, and I thought, well,
there's that.
You know, it either will save the file or it won't.
Oh. Yeah, that's fair.
And I thought, pardon my language, if there's not a damn thing I can do about it right now. And luckily, power came back about 40 minutes later. I just sent.
You would rather it had gone out then than 3 hours later.
Yes. I sent Zach a text, and I said, look, just tape the rest of your ads, send it to me in an audio file, and I'll make a podcast file, and it'll be what it'll be. By that point, we had already talked about Devin Brown and Jaheim Otis and Arch Manning. We'd done enough. Probably didn't cover it sufficiently, but we did enough. We gave people a recruiting thing, and we'll have – how many words would you guess you'll write for this war room tomorrow?
1,000-ish.
So we'll have about 3,000 words of recruiting from me and Chase tomorrow, in addition to a pretty big recruiting content item that Zach put up yesterday. And we got a story from Adam Friedman on Davison Igbonason.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's up. I'm proud of myself that I can say his name already.
Good.
Let's see. So we have that. Martin Palomo and I taped a Mind on My Money where the power went out on that as well.
Oh, it did?
It did. It was fun. And then, let's see, we did a MPW Digital pregame show. I don't know if you've heard, but LSU's coming to town this weekend. They'll play Ole Miss on Saturday at 2:30 at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. The game will be on CBS. So I talked to Pete DeWeese for about an hour, a little over an hour. Talked to Ryan Brown for about half an hour. The power came back on just in time for me to interview Ryan. Thank God. Because he was actually really good. He has a interesting idea about LSU, where LSU might go for a coach.
Oh.
It's a name that I had not heard before, but the more he said it, the more I thought that makes some sense.
Okay.
So anyway, talked to him, talked to Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports, and talked to Jeffrey Wright of 92.9 ESPN in Memphis. So all that's on.
Jeffrey already getting a lot of compliments for his interview. I see on the message board.
It was really good. It was really good. Jeffrey kind of got emotional for a minute. It was really, really good. Sports can make you emotional, especially when it involves your dad.
Yeah, moments, places,
Yeah,
events.
yeah. It's not stuff. It's people. Jeffrey was really, really good. So I would encourage you to listen to that. So it was about 3 hours there. Pete was terrific. If you want to, like Mark says, if you want to learn football, like if you're serious, you want to kind of understand what it is that you're looking at, watch The Thing with Pete. That's brought to you by Walk-Ons. If you're in Ridgeland, 720 Highland Colony Parkway, if you're in the Jackson area, go by there this weekend. Please tell them that you heard about Walk-Ons and you're there because you like us, even if that's a lie. Do that. And they'll be opening in Oxford in November. Right. I think they're hoping to be open for the Vanderbilt game.
Okay.
So, yeah, all that's up on the site. We've got a big, like I said, big war room coming. There's some sort of story from Mike Farrell ranking players, and it's about Matt Corral. I don't know. I haven't seen it. If it's inflammatory.
He had Matt Corral ranked 11th in the country. 11th.
There's 10 players better than Matt Corral?
Yeah, he had him 11th.
Okay. First of all, Russell Harris, thank you so much. That's very nice.
Hey, Russell. How you doing, bud?
Very nice. Appreciate that. Super chat. That is awesome. Okay. Players better than Matt Corral.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give you Jordan Davis at Georgia, the defensive lineman.
Sure.
Okay, I won't fight on that.
I mean, yeah, sure.
It's cool.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. You having a hard time past that, though?
No, I'll give you 31 for Alabama. If you want to go there, I could argue Matt's better than him, but if you wanted to argue he's more valuable, then okay. He's dominant. He dominates games. That's 2.
I'm pretty sure it was 11. I'm looking in a second, but I'm fairly certain that's what I saw. It was like 11. Because it was a picture of him. It was a picture of him at 11 and Nakobe Dean at 15. And it was like the 11 through 15 thing. I'm pretty sure it was 11.
Yeah, I can't come up with 10 players that I think are more valuable / better than Matt.
Yeah,
Corral.
whatever you want to do it. Mid-season Farrell 50 countdown. That is the way that's what I'm seeing here.
Blake says no soccer scores, please. Is that because you don't like soccer, or is that because you are worried about spoilers?
Oh. Who's playing?
I don't know whether he's referring to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is playing Missouri tonight up there.
That's right. Yeah, I saw
where
that.
they typically don't fare very well.
Oh, they hadn't played well in Columbia?
No.
Okay. Is Missouri good? Or are they just one of those places they haven't done well? Asking too many questions at this point?
I mean,
okay.
You took the interview one question too far. Bijan Robinson is awesome. I'd rather have Matt Corral.
Yeah, the midseason Farrell 50, my list of the top 50 players in college football. Here's 11 through 15. Nakobe Dean at 15. Icom Aquanu, the NC State kid that is pretty good, at 14.
Okay.
Josh Downs, wide receiver, North Carolina, at 13. Desmond Ridder, quarterback, Cincinnati, at 12.
Okay.
And Matt Corral, quarterback, Ole Miss.
Way too low.
Corral's not only cut down on turnovers, but he's become an efficient runner as well as it's a really poorly written sentence. Corral has not only cut down on turnovers, but he's become an efficient runner as well as his stock for the NFL draft continues to soar.
Yeah, like he's a candidate to be the first pick.
So,
Ethan, thank you for
the super chat. He did link rubbergrove.com under it.
Well, that was nice.
Hey, that was nice. That was that. People helping people.
He says, sorry if this has been asked already. How much of a role could the fact that Cooper Manning was not able to play at Ole Miss affect Arch's recruitment?
I guess had Cooper played, there might be more of a chance, but I don't see it being a huge whatever either way. The Mannings, if you'll notice on Saturday, are pretty synonymous with the school. Yeah. It's going to be all right.
I've got a lot on touchdown SMU.
Yeah, they're scoring a lot. Tulane was playing tonight, so we're Tulane stuff.
I've got a lot.
It's a great uniform game, by the way.
The
fantastic uniform game.
Listen, SMU does red, blue, and white really well.
They do that shade of red, white, and blue better than anybody.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because they have a great logo, too. That pony's good.
Yeah.
The pony works.
I like their stripes.
It's one of the reasons why, I actually had this conversation with Gerald Turner, their chancellor, former Ole Miss chancellor, when I talked to him for a story a couple years ago. I wish they had a baseball program just because I think they would knock baseball uniforms out of the park.
Oh, they would.
I mean, it would really work if they had a baseball team.
Because you could do the SMU letters,
Yeah.
and then you could have an alternate with the pony.
Yeah. You got a lot of stuff you put
You could do a lot.
You know, they put Dallas on on some of their football uniforms. I don't love that.
No.
They write Dallas across it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when Vanderbilt does that, and you go, hold on.
Well, they could just. I would not mind if they did Dallas, but did the S as a money sign because that would be more appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that back to the Pony Express, or is that just because they're in Highland Park? What do we do?
Yeah. Well, both. But yeah, I don't think Cooper impacts it. Listen, I wrote a lot about Arch. It'll be up in the morning. I'm probably going to let Chase figure out how he wants to format that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot on Arch. I mean, a lot. And I talked to a lot of people about it. I talked to some people I gave people the little anonymity. I think Chase has talked to people about Arch. There's stuff in it that you'll really like, and there's stuff in it that you won't like because it's not over at all. And it's complicated.
Yes, Mark, SMU has a lot of money. That is correct.
Tons.
Yeah. They could afford to have a baseball team if they'd like to have a baseball team.
Yeah.
He said some of the reasons they have nowhere to put the stadium, the way it's landlocked in, and he said that frankly their boosters just don't care. It's just football and basketball. There's no influential push for it.
It would be a waste of money in a way. In a way.
But you're in a good you're at a conference that does a pretty good job of playing the sport is the only kind of.
Oh, it'd be a great job.
I mean, they would destroy Dallas Baptist, and they would hurt TCU.
Now, you'd have to figure out how you could copy some of the Vanderbilt stuff.
Oh, you'd have to be Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
You basically would go holler at Rice and go, hey, what do y'all do? All right, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
We're Dallas Rice now.
Because you'd have to do something because otherwise people would be like, hey, I can't. My son can't afford to come there.
Yeah. Astros Braves World Series will be a ratings disaster if it's the case.
I don't think so.
I mean, they would rather have Red Sox Dodgers.
Sure.
But, I mean, it'd almost be a little bit of good versus evil because people still hate the Astros, and the Braves haven't been in the World Series since '99.
Well, and there are people my generation who the Braves are a national team.
The TBS.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
a Braves fan because of that. So, I mean, I know it's the closest, first or second closest place, but still, I mean.
the two teams that I've watched the most in my life are the Cubs and the Braves. Because the Braves were on every day. I mean, it's synonymous. I can tell you about – I'm not a Braves fan, and I can tell you about Braves teams from the 80s.
I remember seeing White Sox games on WGN. What was their contract? Like, how many White Sox games did you get?
They would do like 60. You'd get all the Cubs games.
You get that many White Sox? Okay,
yeah.
so it was a lot.
Yeah, you got a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd watch them enough. Because when I'd get really mad at the Cubs, I'd sort of switch for a week. I just never could make myself go all the way.
Yeah. I remember their announcing team from the WGN back in the day a lot. That's kind of what I remember from the White Sox. The Braves they do rule the South in a way, but frankly, Mississippi and over a little bit, that's Cardinals country because of getting on the radio and KMX and all that. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, Alabama and Mississippi especially, you're going to siphon off a lot of Cardinals fans in that area more than Braves.
Because Memphis is
the older
Cardinals.
People who aren't watching TBS that listen to KMOX on the radio over the years. Is that right? KMOX?
KMOX.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Blake says, hearing anything out of Southern Miss, will the remaining CUSA teams join Sunbelt? I've had a day, but Brett McMurphy had a good story, and I skimmed it. I wish I'd read it now, but it was about this Sunbelt, CUSA, some other league that are like deciding which of the stragglers go where. But there was a great quote at the end of it, and I don't remember who gave it. This is great pod. But the person said, look, if you're not in the Power Five, it's all just rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. I mean, we're just putting this off. Everyone knows where this is going.
So you being a non-factor in all ways.
And Brett referred to it as when, not if, but when the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, which one am I leaving? Pac-12.
Yeah.
It's not if, but when they expand again. Because it's absolutely when they expand again. It's not if. The SEC will expand again.
And at that point, they'll all pick their teams, and that'll be that moving forward.
For at least
for a while, yeah. I mean, It took 30 years to get from one to the next. Yeah, that's fair.
The SEC will absolutely expand again. If you told me that the talks had already started, I would completely buy it.
We had a media op with Eli Manning here a little while ago. We'll have something of that on the site here and whatever. I'll probably write something. We'll have a little bit of that in the war room as well. What you would expect, nothing crazy from it.
He didn't tell you where Arch was going or anything.
He did not. So I said he told Arch to enjoy the process, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. He said he's actually never seen him play in person.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He said he's never seen him play in person. But he's here. A lot of people in town. It is. I know we mentioned on the podcast this morning.
Freddie Freeman goes deep 2-0 Atlanta here in a potential.
And this is the bullpen game
clincher
for the Dodgers with Max Fried on the mound for the Braves.
I'm going to give you Braves fans a suggestion.
Uh-huh.
You should encourage your front office to just give Freeman a contract and
Tell
go
him
fill
to
it
fill it
out. Because I got to tell you, that cat is the total package.
Yeah, he's something else, isn't he?
That cat.
Well, that was a pitch right across the middle.
It was a cement mixer.
I mean,
but he didn't miss it.
I mean, I hate these uniforms, by the way, though. I hate the Navy.
Yeah, I
can't stand it.
I'd prefer the all gray.
Yeah, I do not like the Navy at all. At least they're wearing it on the road.
The Dodgers do have a classic great uniform.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, it's great.
Hey, Kentucky, take a page out. Do that, please. Thanks.
Well, he got all of that.
Yeah, Eli's life's fine. He was good. He was in a good mood. He was just hanging out. He sounded great. You're right, Dave. He was good.
Why would he possibly be happy? He got out of his NFL career healthy, wealthy as hell.
Gets to still do some stuff for the Giants.
Giants employed him. ESPN's give him a gig where he doesn't have to really do very much.
Basically his own show. It's
all good.
He said that he actually would have liked to have done a show with Ole Miss and Tennessee last week, that it started out as a social media joke. However, they did kind of bring it to him a little bit and at least banter it around, but Peyton was out of town. Eli, without saying it, he kind of blamed his brother for it and kind of acted like he would have done it had it been the case.
I mean, Peyton didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think Peyton would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was kind of that. I know somebody, well, I asked that question, what was I asked? And that was how it was so answered.
Ginger wants to know how Eli's son's arm is progressing.
He's like 6, but yeah, sure.
Well,
and
how's are his feet good?
Yeah, moving around, doing all the yeah. Lego's like a champ.
You should see him on the Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, Eli's latest episode of his show, I think he had Jerry Rice. They're hanging out on the farm.
Rode on a mule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were doing. I had this earlier. If we needed it this morning on the show, but we didn't. I know people kind of like these percentages. I looked at ESPN's FPI because I was curious. Was it Football Performance Index? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And they have them projected to go 9-3 on the season. Well, actually 9.1 to 2.9, but they give them a 5.2% chance of winning out. And then their strength of schedule remaining is 41 nationally at this point.
So they've got them losing to Auburn.
Well, see, that's the only interesting thing. They just kind of have them losing again because they have a couple games, but they're favored in every game remaining except for Auburn.
Except Auburn. So they got them going 10-2, sort of.
It's kind of like when Palm, it doesn't match up on. No, it's not. It's Ken Palm's what it is, not Jerry Palm. It's in Ken Palm's thing for basketball. It'll give an overall record, but that won't necessarily line up with the game-by-game percentages that they expect. So, Ole Miss obviously 5-1 right now. They gave Ole Miss a 93 game score against Tennessee, where Ole Miss even though they barely won, they dominated, controlled the game for the majority of the game. I mean, Lane Kiffin was annoyed by it on Monday. He said that's the game you got to figure out how to win by 2 or 3 scores and put it away. It would
have sucked to have lost that game. Like the Arkansas game, had they lost it, you'd have been like, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what was the game score on Arkansas.
81.
Yeah. Because they dominated it to a point.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were always the team going ahead.
They dominated Tennessee in a way that had Tennessee won, you'd have been like, whoa, boy, that was you really blew that.
Mm-hmm. But remaining, just kind of looking at it, they give Ole Miss a 71.4% chance of beating LSU on Saturday. My only thing with this, and I don't know that I would have changed my score, but a lot of buzz today that Ben Brown is likely not playing, or at least questionable at best. Again, not reporting he's not playing. I have no idea, and I'm so tired of Ben Brown conversations. To the point my blood pressure is kind of rising a little bit.
Did he do his interview this week?
In full disclosure, that's what I was waiting on, and I did not see it. Now, and I'm not making a joke, I don't know who owns the rights to the interview. I really don't.
Sorry.
You know what I mean, though? I don't know who the hell is showing it. So we have an NIL with Chance Campbell. The Spirit or somebody has an NIL with Ben Brown. Obviously, they've broken into 2 sites. I don't know who actually did that or who it's with, but I did not see a Ben Brown segment this week. And that lent me pause because unless you're banged up, why are you not doing it the week after beating Tennessee and you have LSU coming in and all that kind of stuff? For a kid who frankly grew up rooting for Eli Manning. Ben Brown's a huge Ole Miss fan, grew up, family, all that kind of stuff. He'd have been pretty interesting from an Eli standpoint this week.
Chance did not know a lot about it.
I had doubted he knew a ton, no. He would know more from the Giants than he would the Rebels.
Yeah.
Is he a Ravens fan?
He's a Ravens fan.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So I did not see that. Hearing a lot. I think Ben Garrett actually called him either questionable or doubtful today. Yeah. If he's out and Caleb is out and Rhodes is out, I don't know who plays on the offensive line. And that would give me pause if we were redoing Neal's picks to go, how are they moving the football? Because Matt can't run it 30 times. So if Braylon's out, I don't know. I don't know any of this. I'm just kind of talking, but it's a severe depth issue at this point, to the point of not even looking like the same offense potentially.
I don't even know who the other. So you'd have Melton at one guard, you'd have James and Broker at the tackles, Umana at center,
and then you would have some combination of Ramsey, maybe McIntyre, maybe Colquitt.
Guys who haven't played much.
No, very little. I mean, very, very, very little.
Dustin in the thread says the line's dropped to 7.5.
And a 2-point drop off an offensive lineman is a huge drop, if that's any reasoning there.
Well, I wonder about Braylon. And I don't know. I was told week to week, and I've heard nothing new. So I'll assume he's week to week, which would tell me they're going to give it a go. And yes, I realize fans get very frustrated with vague. But I swear to you, I'm telling you the whole truth.
I don't know. So.
Yeah, Eli Acker, would he play?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't – I don't know.
Well, it's a common thing in football. It's cliche, but it's true. It's next man up. And at some point, you either next man is up or you get beat.
Because I'm looking at it right here. I'm pulling up from Pro Football Focus. I'm just kind of curious. Offensive linemen who have played this season. Nick Broker's played 815 snaps. No, sorry, this is 2020. Hold on, give me a second. Literally 1 second. Okay. Broker 466, James 466, Brown 444, Umana 406, Caleb Warren 291, Melton 159, and then here's the fall off. Bryce Ramsey's played 118. That was mostly he played a game that Umana did not play in, so he got a ton there. And then after that, Eli Acker has played 41. Reese McIntyre has played 41. Scrolling. Colquitt has played 5.
5 snaps.
Hamilton Hall has played 2. That is your offensive line snaps this season. And even Acker at 41, that was 24 against Austin Peay and 17 against Tulane. That's it. So Ramsey, by far your next guy who could play center or guard potentially, but we're still not talking about very many snaps at all. Yeah, McIntyre 41, and then yeah.
So guys either step up or they don't. LSU's got a bunch of injuries too. Supposedly they've got a bunch of guys that are questionable going into this game.
Finish going from there. Auburn, they're giving Ole Miss a 36.6% chance against the Tigers. So Auburn at 63-ish, something like that.
I don't know. I don't like that matchup at all.
Yeah, 36 is probably
right-ish.
Yeah. Giving Ole Miss an 83% chance against Liberty.
That's too low.
Neal will not.
They lost to ULM. Did you hear about that?
How's Rhett Rodriguez doing, by the way?
Better.
Any update there?
Better.
He okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Not playing yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so not only did they lose to ULM, they lost to ULM with a backup quarterback who I'm sure is a wonderful young man,
Yeah.
but is really limited.
He did not have offers from all over the country.
No. Again, I'm sure his mother and father are very proud, and they should be. But Matt Corral, he is not.
Russell Harris said he heard bicep for Brown. The only thing I kind of had going into – I had upper body was all I really had heard over the course of the week, so that would jive from that standpoint, and that would make sense. Let's see. Where am I at? A&M, they're giving Ole Miss a 61% chance against Texas A&M. So 61-39 there between those two. Giving Ole Miss a 97.9% chance against Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
And then they're giving Ole Miss a 62% chance in Starkville.
I think that's a little low, but okay.
Yeah. So point being, they have them losing to Auburn, and then they think that they potentially lose to A&M or Mississippi State because it's only 60-40. That's essentially what they're saying. So 9-3-ish for the Rebels closing the season, something like that. Apparently the crowd's empty in LA too. I know it's only 5:29.
It's 5:29 there.
Pretty fair weather.
Yeah, and their fans show up late and leave early, and if it's not going great. The Tyrell Pigrome question, I don't know the answer.
I will say it's a little odd.
It's really odd. And I understand why fans ask.
Why did he even transfer here?
I don't know.
Like,
he made the trip to Knoxville, I think.
He's made a couple trips. He was in Tuscaloosa, too.
Yeah. And I was told a couple of times he's the backup. But now, the backup for one snap or the backup if something happened to Matt?
Well, the latter.
It's the latter.
If either.
And I don't know, yeah. Braves done in the first with 2 runs going to the bottom of the first.
Oh, still top first?
Yeah. Just started recently.
Well, I know. I didn't realize the home run.
Who's the NFL game?
I have no idea.
Denver and man, it's been a day. I'm so out of touch.
You're kind of just
Denver and Cleveland. Oh, that's right. Cleveland without Baker.
Oh, that's right.
All right, let's do the suit thing. I don't like Denver's white uniform. I don't because I hate the helmet. I just hate it. And I don't like the big blue stripe down the white pant.
So you don't like Denver's suit, is what you're talking about?
I don't like Denver's suit. And I can't decide what I think about Cleveland's. It's the orange pants with the brown and white stripes. I do love the brown jersey.
I mean, it's just what Cleveland is.
I would prefer the white pant with the brown jersey.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Is that not?
I would prefer the white jersey with the orange pant.
Okay. I mean, this is their traditional, right?
Is it?
Isn't it? Or do they usually wear white pants? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's all running
They
together.
mix it up a lot. The Bengals and the Browns mix it up a lot. I guess the more I look at it, the more it does kind of grow on me. I love the jersey.
You do like the brown.
Mm-hmm.
And their helmet's fine. Denver needs to go back to
the old helmet with the D and the horse with snorting the
the stallion jumping through, the Bronco jumping through.
Yeah, it's a great helmet. Why would you change it?
Well, it's like the stupid Buccaneers. They went pewter
and
for
the
a while.
Patriots.
They've done
why change?
Well, the Patriots are that's the one. You look like SMU.
You had the greatest helmet ever.
Yeah,
and
you're
like,
Minuteman snapping the football or whatever. I mean,
it's as good as it gets.
What are you doing? No, you know what? We're going to do a revolutionary, weird Paul Revere thing. We're going to go gray.
What's Ole Miss wearing? Have they announced yet?
I thought it was powder on powder.
Oh, really?
Think. Isn't it, guys?
So the end zones are red. You tell the fans to wear red, and you wear powder, which is fine, but I'm confused. David Russell, thanks for the super chat. He says, cheap question, so will there be something cheesy like JRP changed numbers at half and deliver the framed jersey to midfield wearing his new number. That would be pretty cheesy.
No, he is going to go down. He will be the last person in football to wear number 10 and the last person in baseball to wear number 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yes, that is
He
correct.
gets to finish his career in the 10?
Yeah, yeah, he can finish his career in the 10.
If you were him, wouldn't you change jersey numbers next year?
Yeah, I think so.
I would too.
It's hanging.
Because now you hung Eli Manning's. If you wear it, you're like, I'd change.
Are they anywhere close to retiring another number? Or are they done for a long? As far as we're around? If somebody said you have to pick out the next number, has it happened or has the person been on the field?
Well, to their credit, they've been very.
Which is good. You don't retire a ton of freaking
they've
numbers.
retired Archie Manning, Chucky Mullins,
And Eli.
and Eli. So the answer to the question would be no.
Yeah.
Now, there's a player on the field right now.
That if he won a Heisman Trophy,
If he wins the Heisman,
you have to think about it.
I think you'd have to do it.
You'd have to do it. I don't think Willis's number is going to be retired. He played on
Patrick's
bad
team
teams.
was he played on bad teams, and he had Cutcliffe not been so stubborn, I think he would have played a lot more on the really good team.
He was a freshman.
But he ended up playing on bad teams.
He caused the fumble against Alabama. That's pretty much what he did his
did.
freshman year.
He blew that guy
Because he
out.
was on the special teams.
Yeah.
He's a really good special teams player. I think you would have to. I mean, look, if I had to say, hey, who is the person who deserves it? And yeah, Russell, you're right. Gene Hickerson's in the Hall of Fame. I get they have a lot of those guys, but I don't love doing it for NFL reasons.
No.
It needs to be a college reason for
Sure.
me
I agree.
on why you do it. 49 would be the player if I said I had to pick one that they had not done. But I don't have any problem with them not doing it.
One thing I wish.
And I wouldn't hate a Ring of Honor.
That's what I was getting ready
Yeah.
to say. A Ring of Honor where you recognize people who mean something. Because then you could do. Now, I firmly believe the Romero Miller thing, and we'll fight on that hill.
Yeah, I know.
But you could put him on the Ring of Honor. You could put Jarrell Poe on the Ring of Honor. Patrick Willis on the Ring of Honor. Dexter McCluster on the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, 22 for Deuce and Dex.
Yeah. But you could keep 22 alive.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, it would. Corral would have to win the Heisman. That's some of the problem too. You retire 22, and you're taking away like one of the top 3 running back numbers.
Yeah.
That becomes a problematic in recruiting. Let's be honest. You're not the Yankees where they just go, "Hey, here's 68. Deal with it, bud." I mean, the Yankees have like what 2 numbers left from the 1 through 10, if they have any.
But now, in fairness, they retired studs.
Well, yeah, I'm
mean,
not criticizing.
It's like Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and Yogi
Well, 'cause I
Berra
mean-
and Mickey Mantle.
Oh, it's actually all of them. They don't have anybody. 1 through 10's retired.
Is that right?
Yeah, almost positive. So, because Billy Martin, Jeter, Ruth,
Oh, yeah.
Gehrig, DiMaggio, Joe Torre, Mantle, Berra, Maris.
Who was number 10?
Do they have 10? Maybe that's. Maybe I actually find a list of numbers. Now I'm curious.
If Arch wanted to come, you would let him wear one of his family members'
100%. Yeah.
jerseys. Though, based on what I've heard about him, I don't think that's something he would want to do.
He can wear 16.
Yeah,
Huh.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would want
Phil
that.
Rizzuto, 10.
Rizzuto.
And then pass 1 through 10. So they have nobody available 1 through 10.
Did they retire Reggie Jackson's numbers? 44 retired.
Yeah. So the rest of their numbers retired are 15,
Thurman Munson.
correct? 16. I would have missed this one. I didn't know it.
I don't know.
Whitey Ford.
Okay.
20. Jorge Posada.
Okay. They retired Jorge Posada's number?
On August 22nd, 2015. You are now rejecting your previous thing that they retire studs. But that's the only one I have a problem with so far. But
did they retire Dave Winfield?
no.
Well, he was better than Posada.
23. Come on.
Yankees 23.
Don Mattingly.
Oh, yeah.
Have no problem there. 32.
Guidry?
Elston Howard.
Okay.
37. Casey Stengel. I wouldn't have known it.
Okay.
You didn't know it. 42.
Oh, Jackie Robinson.
Mariano Rivera.
Oh, yeah. Him too.
44. Reggie Jackson.
Okay.
49.
Guidry.
Yes. 46. I don't have a problem with this one.
Bill Necro.
Now, off the top of my head, I had a problem, but the more I think about it, I don't have a problem. Andy Pettit.
Oh, yeah.
And then 51.
Yankees 51.
I'd have gotten this one.
51.
Yep.
Pitcher?
Nope. Outfielder.
Oh, Bernie Williams.
That's correct. Yes.
Bernie Williams was a badass.
You're okay with that one? So out of all of them, Jorge is the only one where you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
played on a lot of title teams.
He was a good player. But like,
and when you're running out of numbers.
But is Jorge Posada that much better than, say, Paul O'Neill or?
That's a good one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's fair.
Willie Randolph. I mean, there's a lot of great Yankees.
A lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing A&M didn't retire the number 2.
Because of Manziel?
Yeah. Some of his problems.
But that's being based on what happened in the NFL.
I mean, I would have no problem if they did. But his troubles have prevented that. Let's be honest.
Sure, of course.
His background past that point.
But, man, he won a bunch of games for them that they would not have won otherwise.
Well, I watched 2 of them in person.
I mean, yeah, won a Heisman Trophy that
they would have lost both times against Ole Miss without Johnny Manziel.
Chase, if you put a mortal quarterback in those 2 games, Ole Miss wins those games by multiple touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That was the difference he made.
All right, so Jorge Posada, he was a Yankee from 95 to 2011, so he played 17 years-ish. 5-time All-Star, 4-time World Series champion, 5-time Silver Slugger Award. I didn't realize that. I don't know if it was enough to retire your number, but that at least gives me a little bit of pause. Although I don't know who you're competing against at the same time.
I mean, he was part of a great era.
273, 275, 1,065. Average home runs, RBIs. He hit 273. Hit 275 home runs. That, like, you better be Molina behind the plate if we're doing this.
And he wasn't that. He was good.
Well, he has 0 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, he was good. But nobody ever watched him play and went, oh,
he was the best hitting catcher for like a 6-year period in the American League.
But it's the Yankees. They've won like 8 million championships. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
This is the one you have a problem with.
I mean, I do have a basic. I mean, I'm not like lose sleep over it, but yeah, I don't. I mean, 20 years from now, when some kid goes, I want that number, and you go, no, that's retired. Oh, really? Who was it? That was Posada. The kid's going to say, who? Like when the kid goes, I want number 2. No, you can't have that. Who had it? Jeter. Oh, okay, I get it. Like nobody walks into the Yankees front office and goes, I want to wear number 3.
Well,
you sort of get that, right?
I'm reading now like his reads, and this is before it happened. And we'll move on to something else, but it's Thursday night. It's what we do. So Bleacher Report has an article from 2012. I know I said Bleacher Report, but because this is also a dumb premise. It's New York Yankees, Jorge Posada, and 10 numbers they need to retire. Well, they don't need to retire 10 more freaking numbers.
Well, at some point you run out of numbers.
Their 10 are Posada, again, this is 2012. Posada, O'Neill, Pettit, Bernie. So they did a lot of these after. Greg Nettles.
Had a hell of a career.
He did. Mel Stoudemire.
Okay.
They've done Torrey. Mike Mussina.
I hated Greg Nettles when I was a kid.
Mussina's an Oriole. He's not a Yankee.
Yeah, Mussina's an Oriole.
I know he played about the same amount of time for both teams, but he's an Oriole.
He's an Oriole.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Rivera, A-Rod, obviously Jeter. So actually they retired like 6 of the 10, so I apologize a little bit to Bill Ford. But his argument for Jorge Posada,
okay,
he was one of the core four and a career-long Yankee. Okay,
if you had told me at 8 o'clock this morning that I would be talking about Jorge Posada at 7:42 tonight, I would have been like, really?
Yeah, did he die? Like, what
happened?
What happened?
I'm not even sure if he died. I'd be talking about him. By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Posada, I'm glad that he didn't.
He's one of only 2 players in MLB history who has hit 40 doubles in two different seasons.
Okay. Who's the other, by the way?
I have no freaking idea. He became the first Yankee catcher since Munson to end a season in the top 10 batting leaders in the AL.
I remember when Thurman Munson died.
Oh, dear.
I was a little boy,
Yeah.
but I remember Thurman Munson dying and it being awful.
He hit the first home run in the new Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
He hit back-to-back grand slams in games, becoming the first Yankee to do so since 1937. He
Okay.
has 10 career grand slams. And then, he has 1,664 hits.
Okay.
And then they say he was a face of the Yankees. Well, okay, but
Yeah, they
he
loved
was a face
him.
of the Yankees at a time when Jeter and Rivera were the faces of the Yankees. This is dumb. I have a problem with this one.
How many Alabama football players have had their number retired? Any?
Do they really not have one?
I don't know. I'm curious now. I'm thinking about it. I'll answer this question while you're looking it up. Denver, yeah, we're going to put Tyler's podcast in our podcast feed. I like his podcast. I think it's a good addition. It's like every other podcast that we put in there. We're trying to build a podcast network. And there will be people that love it, and there will be people that don't, and that's okay. But there was competition for that podcast, and we won it. Because that's what we do. We win.
We had a real long discussion about it. Meetings.
I called Chase and I went, hey, just in case you didn't know,
Did this. Okay.
someone was trying to get Tyler Siskey's podcast, so we got it.
Okay. There is no number 12 at Alabama, no number 34 at Auburn, no number 11 at Florida, 34 at Georgia, 20 at LSU, 18 at Ole Miss, 16 at Tennessee, 12 at A&M. Let's see. Alabama chooses not to do it. While Florida retired them, then in the 90s, unretired numbers, and like Kentucky, allows the players to wear them.
Matthew Jones says, so we have a sellout football game Saturday.
It's
We're
Thursday
talking
night,
baseball.
okay?
I love this show. Never know what we will get. In fairness to us, and I
There's
realize
a ton of
there's
and there
a
will be
lot.
tons more.
Yeah, there's a lot of football content up on the side, and I will be happy to talk about it. I just don't know what else to say at this point.
All right, so
The hay is in the proverbial barn.
all right, retired numbers. None at Alabama.
They didn't retire Namath's number?
They don't retire numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, Alabama does not retire football numbers. Arkansas has 2.
Aren't they special?
Arkansas has 2 numbers.
Darren McFadden and...
No. Or at least not when this was written.
Oh, hell, I don't know. Jerry Jones.
This was 5 years ago.
Okay.
Arkansas has number 12 for Clyde Scott and Steve Little.
Oh, and then Burlsworth.
And then Burlsworth,
Yeah.
77. Auburn has 3 retired. Pat Sullivan, Bo Jackson, and Terry Beasley.
Okay. Pretty good players.
Terry Beasley?
He was a wide receiver that was real popular there.
Okay, sure.
Pat Sullivan's target.
Yeah, Florida unretired numbers. So they have none. Georgia has 4. Frank Sinkwich, Herschel, Darren Saup, and Charlie Trippey.
Herschel was really good.
He's all right. Kentucky, my God, stop. They can wear them. So they've unretired them from a wearing.
So it's a ring of honor.
It is, but it's like 29 numbers.
Well, that's dumb.
You're Kentucky football.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Bear Bryant and Tim Couch,
Tim Couch is on here.
and that's it.
I mean, yeah, like no offense to Bob Davis at number 13, but
Nobody's heard of damn Bob Davis.
George Blanda,
Oh, he's good.
that counts.
Yeah.
Howard Schnellenberger, Charlie
didn't-
McClendon.
He didn't play, did he?
I don't know. He's on the list. That's all I
Okay.
got. I don't know. You tell me. Shipwreck Kelly's a great name, though.
That is a great name.
That's a fantastic name. I like that a lot. LSU 2, Tommy Casanova and Billy Cannon.
Is that all? Two players?
That's it.
Huh.
Yeah, 20 and 37. And then they give like the, what is it, 18?
Growing up in Ruston, I can't tell you how big of a deal Burt Jones was.
Oh, really?
Former LSU quarterback. He was
Yeah.
he was the quarterback at the time of the Baltimore Colts. Burt Jones was a big deal.
Missouri has 6, but they aren't really in the SEC. We won't know any of those dudes.
Craig Yeast was a hell of a football player. Jerry Lorenzen, God rest his soul.
Other than Kellen Winslow, we would know that from Missouri.
Oh, he was a great player.
Yeah. Carolina has 4.
You were too young for that Chargers-Dolphins playoff game that was so good.
Yeah, nothing.
It was like 83. It was fantastic.
Sterling Sharp, Steve Wadiak, George Rogers, and Mike Johnson for the Gamecocks. Tennessee has 8 retired numbers. Peyton, Bill Noling, Johnny Majors, Rudy Clare, Willis Tucker, Clyde Fusion, Doug Atkins, and Reggie White.
Reggie White was pretty good.
A&M only has John David Crow.
Yeah.
That's it.
John David Crow was the coach at what is now ULM when I was a kid.
And then Vanderbilt has the number 1 retired for Quaney Dolster, who died, right? Is that right?
Oh, yeah, the running back.
And then Michael Sloan, a fan. So they've retired no numbers based off merit at Vanderbilt, but they have the number 1 retired at this point.
South Carolina did not retire Marcus Lattimore's number? Okay.
At least not as the time that I had
or Marshawn, whatever.
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore. No. Marshawn Lattimore's.
It was Marcus Lattimore, right?
Yeah, it was Marcus. Yeah, that's correct.
Darren McFadden was a stud.
He went 8-4 with Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis. All in the same backfield.
Yeah. Come on.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Russell says Vandy should retire all of their numbers.
Poor Clark Lee.
Yeah.
His career was so promising.
Yeah.
And then there it goes.
Like you wonder, like the trip home after the South Carolina game when they lost it the other day, looks at his wife and wonders, what do we do? And she goes, well, I really like Nashville or something.
He would have had a lot of options, though, is the thing.
Yeah, he's a really sharp guy.
I mean, I get it. It's the head coach and the whole deal.
I covered Auburn when they had Carnell Williams and Ronnie Brown. They were studs.
Oh, yeah.
They had Brandon Jacobs was on that team with those guys. Brandon Jacobs had a nice NFL career.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think Ronnie or Cadillac was better?
I always thought Ronnie was better. Cadillac had this other gear, but Ronnie Brown was a great every down back. Could catch the ball out of the backfield, was good in pass pro, smart, and was tough. What? Okay. Something about what I said a minute ago?
No. We're
okay.
Good. Yeah.
My bet lock of the week, Denver, is Pittsburgh over Clemson. Lay the points.
You really like that game.
Which means congratulations to Clemson on your big win. But yes. Yeah, that Auburn team was loaded. I covered that team. They were loaded. Jason Campbell, Carlos Rogers, Junior Rosegreen.
We have frustrated message boarders over the powder tonight.
They are wearing powder?
Yeah, they're wearing powder.
Okay.
Yeah. Ole Miss said they're something about CC Blue in the tweet.
Well, once they did the Sissy Blue thing, didn't you have to wear it?
I like it.
The kids love it. That's what matters. I do get the frustration with all the fans are wearing red. The end zones are red, and you're wearing powder blue. I get it.
I mean...
Grind, thanks for the super chat. He says, Neal, if not for COVID changing the way y'all covered games, would you have been a Nealon dodging mustard and golf balls? That's a great question.
Ooh.
Because we had started this.
You were planning to go at one point.
Yeah, we had started this prior to COVID in 2019 when Ole Miss was irrelevant. And then 2020 we did it by necessity and it was popular. And then I thought for a long time in the course of the summer that I was going to go to games and we were going to do this differently. And we got a ton of pushback. And then when they did everything's going to be Zoom on the road and we're going to mask and all that crap. I thought, nah. And then I called Walker Bailey and offered him a deal to just cover games. And I said, I don't need much. Just give me a notebook and transcribe Lane. And he did it. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know where it goes. And there's a part of me that really misses being at games.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things you get off the television, and there's definitely certain things you get from being at the game.
Sure.
I kind of hate not having any environment color, not being able to kind of go, oh, this did this, or this is when the atmosphere changed, or any of that. That's one of the things that is getting me.
But there's no way to do both. There's no way to go to the game, go to the press conference, get back someplace where you have good Wi-Fi and do a post-game show. Can't be done yet.
I mean, I've contemplated going for the first half of some games,
sure,
just to see some of it. But
sure. All right, I'll
open it up.
Yeah, I'll open up phones for a little while. Arch chose the powder.
If he did, hey,
yeah,
whatever works.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have hit a home run. 2-1 Braves.
2-1 Braves, bottom second.
I don't know who hit it. Somebody did.
I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Bradding Ayuki yet. I hope he was okay with his wife calling in.
How do we know Brad's still around?
Oh.
I mean, just saying. Hide the letters ARCH somewhere in the end zone real tiny. I've had so many people go, man, that was really smart. I'm like, yeah.
That was really good.
It was really smart. Hey, who do we have?
What's going on, guys? This is Tommy from Oxford.
Hey, Tommy, what's up?
Oh, man, just driving across Pennsylvania in a storm.
Which part of Pennsylvania?
Up here.
West or east?
Pretty much central. I'm about 160 miles into the state, so pretty much central.
That's like Harrisburg?
No, it's not Harrisburg. It's Lamar, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, heard.
Yeah, I know exactly where that's at.
100%, yeah.
I listened to Red Talk tonight. Lane said that he asked Eli if he wanted to pick the uniform this weekend, and Eli said whatever the players wanted to wear, and the players wanted to wear powder blue.
I think they always want to wear powder blue. Kind of what it sounds like.
There's a uniform debate.
Yeah, I mean, the players are the ones that play. If that's what they want to wear, that's what you let them wear. I mean,
I've seen a lot of kickback on it on Twitter tonight, and when they released it a while ago, and like I said in the message board, people don't like it, but I mean, that's what the players want to wear. I mean, it's the new cool thing. I like it, you know.
What else did he say?
Not a whole lot. Just, typical Lane. He ain't giving away a whole lot.
Except for Monday.
Pretty much gathered Matt's playing.
Yeah, he backed off that hard on Wednesday during the teleconference. He went back to the, hey, we don't really disclose injuries thing. So
that's right.
There was that.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got a bad throat tonight. I just wanted to call in and say that. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Tommy. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if that, I don't know, if that question, I don't know, if somebody asked somebody to ask that question.
Do what now?
I kind of wonder if somebody asked somebody to ask that question Monday. It was so out of character for him to answer it. And the more I think about the question, it feels like it was, hey, would you ask about Matt?
But why?
I don't know.
Oh. I'm trying to respect wishes. But
is there a reason we're not giving baseball scores?
Well, the guy in the thread said not to. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, it's the National League Championship Series, and it's live.
I mean, could you get through a full day without knowing a score of something?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, I guess I could. It'd be hard. I mean, you'd have to really cut yourself off from society, if you will.
Yeah, SMU is rolling.
They're really good. SMU Cincinnati is going to be a great game.
Looking back, what do you make of that Oklahoma Tulane week 1? Just week 1 and
Week 1,
stuff.
Tulane played a very emotional game. Oklahoma's got a shaky defense. You know, kind of who they are.
Yeah, Pratt played really well that day.
He did. They played an emotional football game. Yeah, I thought we weren't supposed to give soccer scores.
It's soccer.
No, but he said no baseball scores.
So what score can we give? Just Tulane and SMU?
I mean, it feels.
Yeah, I feel like the baseball game.
Oh, he's saying it's Braves, and Braves won't barve if I don't watch.
Oh, so he's superstitious.
Yeah, it's. The Dodgers just hit a 2-run homer. It's 3-2 Dodgers, bottom 2. Fried just has to settle in and do his thing. He's fine. Should have been powder on red, Sipreb says. Hey, Bubba.
Hey, boy. How y'all doing?
How are you?
Been a long week. How about y'all?
It's been a week, Bubba, but, you know, we're okay.
Good. I'll tell you what, that game in Tennessee, Daddy was a little embarrassed and just nuts. I'll tell you what, we left and we didn't get to see the end. I didn't realize that Ole Miss almost lost at the end after the 20-minute delay. We kind of left right at that 1 minute and said we were done. They were throwing so much stuff.
It was inches away from a loss. It was close. The next to last play was a little close for comfort if I'm an Ole Miss fan.
Yeah, right through his hands. We watched that, and he even said, "We almost beat y'all at the end. How good would that have been?" I said, "Not very good for me, but it would have been for you." So anyway, just kind of hanging out and got a couple questions for you. Mm-hmm. What are you hearing? You probably said I literally just got home and saw y'all. And how's Corral doing? Y'all heard anything, or is it just kind of a little trickery by the coach?
Feels a touch of gamesmanship. I mean, he was in the hospital on Tuesday, but otherwise he's been. I expect him to play this week.
He was at the hospital on Tuesday.
Well, he was
that's true. He was actually in the hospital.
He was inside the hospital.
He was inside the hospital on Tuesday.
Yes. No, I think it would blow me away if he was not playing on Saturday completely. Now, I don't know that he can run around like crazy, but.
Well, you know, he can be like Eli then, just sit back there and pass it and pick them apart. So, but anyway, what recruits? The other question is, what recruits do you boys see us having coming in?
You mean coming to the game or signing?
Oh yeah,
there's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of them coming. Yeah. Go to. I would highly suggest going to rebelgrove.com, looking at Zach's story from yesterday. It's a comprehensive list, and then there will be a lot more recruiting on the site tomorrow morning in the War Room, like 3,000 words worth.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I got one more thing to say.
Sure.
The new boy, Springer,
he
is a real deal. I mean, I'm impressed with him. And the other thing, got a little bad news on the home front. We had to put 3 down. He on Sunday morning.
That's terrible.
He was 12 and got a little sepsis, and he's just done. So anyway, it's a little bad news, but
that is bad news. Well, I hope that everybody's okay with that. I know that people were attached to 3. And how's 8 doing?
He's been looking around for him. So honestly,
sure.
But it's good because got a bunch, got Chase running around here, named after
Always.
Parham right there.
Thank you.
He's good.
That's a good boy.
It's just been, if you ain't got no quality of life, you ain't got nothing.
That's true.
It's not about quantity, it's quality.
That's true.
But
I hate to hear that.
Boys, sorry to end it on a bad note, but hotty toddy, and I'll see y'all next week, and hopefully we'll beat Eddie O and send it back to LSU with his $17 million.
All right, Bubba. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Yeah, here's to 3. Bless his heart. It's a shame about dogs, isn't it?
Much rather the dogs live.
Dogs really deserve to live longer than we do.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. Go put one of your dogs down. Really hard.
I mean,
I've done it, and it sucks. Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Jarrett.
Hey, Jarrett.
How you doing this evening?
Good.
Bubba, sorry to hear about your dog, man. I know that's tough if you're still listening. So I got a little bit of a bone to pick with both of you. Neal, you didn't put Air Force in your top 25, and then both of you guys just assumed yesterday that San Diego State was going to win the Mountain West. I don't think that's a safe assumption to make.
Well, on number 1, you're right. I didn't put them in. Number 2, that was Ross Dellinger's. As of this moment, top 12, and so that's what we were going off of. So on that particular count, you really don't have a leg to stand on. On the first one, okay, but look.
Yeah, no, I think they beat San Diego State this week. They deserve to be ranked.
Okay.
Now,
and they'll have to.
Some okay.
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah,
they got to
3.5. So we'll see what happens. So okay, guys. So this. What I'm about to ask you to do is going to be very controversial with the listeners. And so before I say this, I want to say this is not my take. I do not agree with it at all. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a take that was given to me by a good friend of mine who's a Georgia fan, and I want you to respond to it.
Okay.
Okay? Stetson Bennett is better than Matt Corral.
It's not even worth responding to.
Say it again?
It's not even worth responding to.
Yeah. So his argument is he has a higher QBR, a higher completion percentage, more passing yards per game, more touchdowns, and a higher completion percentage, 10+ yards downfield. And so my response was, well, how many 5-stars has he got on his offense, number 1? And then number 2, what do his rushing stats look like? And then number 3, does he ever have to, put a team on his back and go win the game? Or does he just get to kind of, distribute the ball and the rest of the team does the work?
He plays knowing there are 0 consequences for anything he does because no one ever scores, ever.
Right. There's no pressure at all. And you've got that run game, which, we have a great run game too, but.
I can't even believe we're spending 15 seconds on this. No. The answer to that is take 2 NFL scouts and ask them that, and after they get through beating the hell out of you, go back and tell your friend you're an idiot.
Yeah,
and if he still argues with you, get better friends. No. Stetson Bennett's a really nice story. He really is. He's a great story, and he's a good game manager, and he plays on an absolutely loaded team. But if Georgia had Matt Corral, my God in heaven, they would be literally unbeatable.
Would they be better than 2019 LSU?
Yes.
It would be because they would be better. Yeah. Yeah, so yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be better.
Yes. Auburn is a good football team, okay? For example, Auburn is a good football team, and they played Georgia really hard and hung with them and still got kind of popped. If you put Matt Corral on Georgia's offense that day at Jordan-Hare, it's an absolute blowout, and Auburn is still a really good football team.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think he was mostly just trolling me, just messing with me. He's like my best friend. We were roommates at the Air Force Academy for 4 years. He was just messing with me.
I hope, because I would like to think that our military is stronger than that.
Yeah, it is. So last thing, guys. So, man, looks like we're really beat up this week. I know Kiffin will never do this, but like from a fan standpoint, like if we go out there and like you were talking about earlier with the next man up and they just couldn't get it done, from a fan base perspective, do we kind of look at it and just be like, well, it sucks because that's one that we could have won, but injuries are injuries and we just got to pick up and try to, win the next one?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Jarrett, it's one of those games that we're just going to watch it and see what happens. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
it could go a lot of different ways, and we don't know how much LSU's beat up too. And, how hard do they play? How much do they want it? What happens early?
Yeah, anyone who's betting on this game has a serious issue. Like, they need to call a gambling hotline because who knows, man.
Hey, Jarrett, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night. See ya.
Ryan makes a good point. I stand corrected, Ryan. That's a good point. It's a really good point. Sad, but a good point.
Let's see. What is Daniel's status?
I think he's getting healthy.
Is he?
They kind of have it. They kind of have it where he's just managing, Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Corbin from New Orleans. First time caller, long time listener.
Hey, Corbin.
Hey, I'm currently on a drive to Oxford from New Orleans, and y'all have been talking a lot about this press conference on Monday from what Kiffin said, that first question with Corral.
Yeah.
So I used to date a girl that is pretty involved in the athletic department, and we still keep in touch. And I asked her about it, and she said that, and I'm not going to name any names or anything, but there were people who are pretty high up in athletics that wanted that question to be the first one asked, and that Kiffin rehearsed the answer a few times, which may not come to a surprise to y'all, but
it does not surprise me.
Right. So what was surprising to me was the reason that she gave me, and, she may be wrong, but this is allegedly what the Athletics was trying to do, was they wanted Matt's name out there in headlines with the word Heisman. And even though it was injury or possible injury or doubtful, the word Heisman's in there. They're creating a campaign for him. What's your thoughts on that? Is that a smart advertising? Yeah,
it's creating a narrative. And Jeffrey had a great answer in the MPW Digital pregame show. He said it's my story. So you create my story, and if you're Ole Miss, you're creating this story that Matt Corral is playing hurt and carrying your football team on national television against LSU, which is a big national brand, on national TV on a day that Eli Manning's having his jersey retired, and that without him, you'd be lost in the proverbial desert. But with him, you're this team that if they win, they're 6-1, 3-1, and still, like we talked about earlier, still alive in the national title hunt. I mean, barely, but alive nonetheless. And yeah, that's what I thought. I think that's what we talked about on Tuesday. I had a feeling the question was planted. I just hate saying that a reporter asked a planted question, because if you asked me or Chase to ask a question, I don't know that we would do it. So they got someone to do it, and okay. The reason I felt that way was because, and I wrote this in the what he said, what he meant thing, was Lane never talks. Like, I use Jonathan Mingo as an example. Caleb Warren would be a good example. I know Caleb Warren and Jonathan Mingo have had surgery. Lane knows that I know they've had surgery. Okay? So if I say, Lane, how's it going with Jonathan Mingo? When do you anticipate him coming back? His answer is going to be, well, as you know, we don't talk about injuries. We hope he plays this week. I mean, to which I would say, yeah, I don't talk about my hair, but I wish it would grow this week. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. And so for him to immediately go, well, we don't really talk about injuries, but, he really got hit a lot, and I hope he plays, but I don't feel great about it. I don't feel very good about it. Whatever he said was, whoa, this was practiced. You knew this was coming. Because if we had immediately said, okay, well, since you're talking about injuries, what about Mingo? He would have said, well, I don't really talk about injuries. We hope he plays this week. So it was establishing a narrative, and I get it. It worked. Because on ESPN the other day, I was at the gym, and I saw it on the
bottom scroll thing.
The scroll, thank you. Matt Corral, doubtful for Saturday's game versus LSU. And I was like, no, he's not. But if you're the voter in Des Moines, you're like, whoa, he was doubtful. And then he comes out and he throws for 377 yards, 4 touchdowns, and runs for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. You're like, son of a bitch, that guy was so hurt that he was doubtful. Look what he did. I get it. It's actually kind of smart.
Yeah.
You still with us, Corbin?
Yeah, I completely agree. The whole rehearsal thing, I mean, I kind of hate it. It's very small, but it's what you do.
No, it's not. It's PR.
Man,
it's not small time. It's PR. It's you make your own narrative. You create a storyline if you can. That's what you're supposed to do. You Hollywood it. I mean, look, they're not going 13-0 and winning the national championship, right? I mean that's or winning the SEC title necessarily. They're not doing it. They're not going 13-0. They're not rolling through the competition where it's going to be a no-brainer. You're going to have realistically, you're going to lose another game. You have to have a storyline where you're telling people this is why Matt Corral should win the Heisman. Not only did he do all of this, but man, he did it hurt. And for the record, I don't doubt for a minute after watching that game on Saturday night that Matt Corral did not feel great on Sunday and Monday.
I'm sure he felt like hell.
I mean, I suspect Matt Corral woke up on Sunday and felt like he had been run over.
Eli mentioned it today, talking about if he couldn't even wrap his mind around running 30 times and what that would feel like for the next few days.
Thanks. Hey, thanks for the call, Corbin. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to win the award. Yeah, the Bogalusa Bugle would never fall for a fake narrative. No way. It's what makes me think that not only is he going to play, but he's going to play well. Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, Corey from Amory. First time, long time, and my device is down.
Hey, Corey from Amory.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, I understood that at one point Ed Orgeron drove a truck from Clark Ford there in Amory.
No, he had a Hummer.
He had a Hummer.
Had a Hummer. So, I do have a football question. You want me to do the O stuff first and the football question later, or do you want me to do the football question?
No, do the football
first?
question now and then the O stuff after that.
All right. So I was in a wedding Saturday night. I mean, just, whatever. But I was in a wedding Saturday night. I saw the end of the game, but there was a pass interference call that got a lot of pub. So I went back and looked at it, and if it's the one I'm thinking about, Corral's in the pocket for a couple seconds, and he steps up and he throws it towards the Ole Miss sideline over the head of 2 receivers.
Yep, I remember.
Okay.
Yep.
So if he sucked at quarterback, that's not a intentional grounding call.
Yeah,
if he was an awful quarterback, they would not have thrown that flag. But because he's good and accurate, they called it intentional grounding. Am I wrong there?
No, you're right. This is Chase's pet peeve.
Yeah,
so.
I hate this. Absolutely hate it. It's the worst, and this means this. I get what I'm saying here. This is the worst new rule in football over the past how many ever years. That to me, if you throw it over the head of a receiver, that receiver is still in the area. Because like on a goal line, it goes up forever. You know, it is unending on you crossing the goal line. If you throw it over the head, he's in the area. It should never be intentional grounding no matter what. Now they have the ability to say your intention was to ground the football.
They can read your mind.
Yeah, it's as dumb as when they wave off the penalty and go, no, the receiver ran the wrong route. How the hell do you know?
The Austin Peay quarterback makes that same throw. I guarantee you it's not intentional grounding.
Absolutely. The ULM quarterback makes that throw Saturday night. No one throws a flag because they're like, he sucks. Right. Yeah.
But Corral's, he's good, so he grounded it.
Yes, I hate it.
Okay.
Chase will sit here and get kind of visibly shook on calls like that, and it doesn't have to be the Ole Miss game.
No,
It can be Vanderbilt.
I was watching Vandy UConn.
Yeah, it happened in a Vandy UConn game, and Chase got upset about it. Like, how did they know where he was throwing the ball?
Yeah,
it's a good point.
Come on now, Bill. Don't be like it,
Phil.
Fair.
So you want my O story?
Yeah,
I'd love
absolutely.
Your O story. So, me and O go back probably 15 years, and about a day or two after he got fired, I'm sitting in a deer stand, and my phone rang, and it was him, and I let it go to voicemail, and the voicemail is like, hey, Corey, this is Coach O. I need to buy Kelly a top-of-the-line Suburban. Give me a call. So immediately the deer hunt's over. I grab the phone and I call him, and he tells me what he's hunting, and then I have two options available. So we build both of them out, and we took them over to his house, the big green house at the golf course there in Oxford in the cul-de-sac. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is after he's been fired.
This is 2 days after he's been fired.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So he is there, and she picks out the one she wants. It was a black Denali, and I had the paperwork there, and I tore the paperwork up for the other one and took it back to Amory, and he writes me a check for the Denali, and everything's good, and I'm leaving the house, and I said, I hope you're okay. And he's like, oh, man, I'm good. And he basically said, I just wrote you a check for $60-something thousand. It's really hard for me to be too mad at Ole Miss about this, right? And you kind of got some of that in his press conference the other day, kind of the same thing. But in the meantime, he gets the job with the Saints, and Kelly's in Oxford tending to the kids, and she never goes and gets a tag for the Denali. They buy a house in Mandeville, and they move down to Mandeville. And Chase, I know you were covering them at the time. I don't know if you ever had the pleasure of talking to Miss Kelly, but she could make a sailor blush, some of the stuff she'd say.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And she goes to get a tag in Louisiana, and they try to charge her Louisiana sales tax. Now she's already paid. They've already paid sales tax when they bought it from me, but they never got a tag. So Louisiana's trying to charge her sales tax. And I said, okay, I got it. Don't worry about it. She's calling, raising all Mount Hell, and I got it. Oh, it's fine. So we have a cabin about 1,000 yards from the Clay County line in South Monroe County that I know the address to. I think the statute of limitations is up on this. I don't think I broke any laws, but I think it's up anyway. So I just generated another title application and got her a Monroe County, Mississippi tag. Y'all follow me?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So I sent her the tag, and she sends me a check for what the tag costs. Next year, same thing. Sticker comes up, and she needs a new tag. I go get it. She sends it to me, and we rock it on. Well, he goes to Tennessee in a Hummer, And he hadn't had any trouble with this, but now he gets out to L.A., and I don't know if there was some emissions things or what with this Hummer. He cannot get a California tag on this Hummer. I said, well, I got it. Don't worry about it. So I do the same thing again. I get the VIN number for the Hummer, and I get Ed Orgeron in this 2006 Hummer, and I take it to the Aberdeen courthouse, and I get a tag made up for the camp house, and there we go. I mailed him the tag, and he sent me a check, and we did this a couple years. But it always tickles me to think of Ed Orgeron rolling around Los Angeles, California, in a Hummer with a Monroe County, Mississippi tag on the back. I mean, he did it. He did it as the interim head coach of USC. I had to send him a Monroe County, Mississippi tag. It just tickles me to death.
That's great.
You know, I love him, and I know I catch a lot of grief from people that are Ole Miss people, but I do. He's been good to me. He's like Neal. He passes the driveway test, everything in his driveway. He was head coach at LSU, still buying cars from me. So I have a soft spot in my heart for O, and hope he does good. And I think he'll land on his feet. That $17 million will help.
He said he'd have enough to buy a hamburger or two.
Maybe a double.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to call into that story. He's
awesome.
He's a lot better guy than people give him credit for. I was hung over for 2 days after the 2008 Cotton Bowl, and I dare say if he didn't recruit as good as he would have, we wouldn't have been there.
Well, no, that's true.
No, there's no doubt about that.
Houston wouldn't have put that talent together.
Mm-mm.
No. He had the misfortune to be at the right place at the right time too many times.
What do you think he would have done? Look, it wouldn't have been what it was because he had beat them down. I mean, he had. So there was a lot of issues. But if he gets to coach Snead that first year, what are they, 7-5?
No. I'd tell him to his face. I don't think he could have done what Houston Nutt did with that team. Now, I don't think Houston Nutt could have assembled that team.
He couldn't have.
But I don't think that I think at the time there was a really good article when he I think O took a year off maybe at some point, and there was a really good article that was on ESPN.com or something where he was having to sit at his house in Mandeville and watch football, and it was an interview with him and Kelly. And he talked about that notebook he had made about what he would do different. I think, the binder. And I don't think he was ready for that job. I think, Kyatt and Boone went to the West Coast to find a coach.
Well, they went to hire Dennis Erickson, and then Kyatt got his feelings in a wad.
Erickson told him how he was going to save in that program.
Yeah.
And that didn't go good.
He said, no, you're not going to save in my program.
Ed is not going to not take the job. And from all accounts, tried to run a program like he ran the defensive line at USC, and that wasn't good. But he's at his core, he's a good dude. I'm glad he got all his money. But anyway, no, man, I don't think. I think even money would be Ole Miss going to a bowl in 2008. I think he was outside of his realm being the head coach at that time. But he's got a ring now, and you can't take it away from him.
He does.
No, he's got a ring, and he was the head coach of arguably the best college team that's ever assembled.
Right.
I mean, he's got a great side and a terrible side. And, you watch. It's what's been interesting to me about the LSU story this week has been the stories that have come out about the women at the state at the practice field who brought their kids, and how many players, Miles Brennan, Chason, and others have come out and said, man, I was there for 4 years, 5 years. I've been here for a long time. That never happened. And I can't help but wonder if one of the things that's happening is LSU people, insiders, are putting this narrative out to make sure that just in case they go on a run, there's no saving him.
Oh,
Well,
Just
he's
in
done.
case.
it's over.
Because
Yeah,
if they lose to Florida Saturday, I wonder how many of these stories happen
that's a good point.
with this detail.
Yeah. And hey, and me and you have spoken privately. I know a lot of the details of that whole deal. The divorce deal.
Yeah.
And this isn't as simple as it was just a standard old divorce. You know, and it's complicated, it's complex, it's everything, and I mean it's kind of the same thing we got in Oxford. You got, you know, decent looking male with money is attracting women. News at 11. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well,
before I
like-
speak too much.
My dad said that the other day. He goes, so women like money? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just go
just
figure.
unique to college football coaches apparently. You know?
Yeah, just, you know, it's like probably like most every divorce, right? There's two sides. There's, if you were to just ask one party, hey, what happened? You'd get one story, and if you ask the other party what happened, you'd get another story, and it's kind of like it's kind of like
believe you me.
yeah, it's kind of like that country music song where there's two stories, one's the truth and one's not, and yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Sorry I kept you so long.
Oh, good, Corey.
You know, y'all keep fighting the good fight.
Thanks, Corey.
Later.
We were talking about planting questions. Who was it we were talking to in the teleconference that day when Freeze kept walking behind us and telling people, whispering in reporters' ears to ask certain questions?
Longo.
Oh, it was long.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Holy shit. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Dan in Jackson.
Dan, hang on real quick because I got to digest what Chase just said. I totally
right.
forgot that he was asking us to ask questions. He was walking around.
So they've got a teleconference machine in the middle on a podium, and we're talking to Longo, if that's who it was. I didn't remember that.
It was Longo.
And yeah, he would walk up behind like certain reporters and whisper basically in their ears, hey, ask this. Get him to talk about this. And it went on for like 10 minutes.
Hey, Dan.
Hey guys, how are you?
I'd forgotten about
I'm
that. I'm
down
glad
here living
I'd
the
forgotten
lifestyle.
about that.
Central Mississippi, living the lifestyle. I wanted to let you guys know, just to tell you thank you for all the work y'all do, and it is much appreciated. And just doing you're killing it. Now that you moved the podcast back to the mornings, for us sales guys, it's great.
Hey, I appreciate that. That's nice.
No, and look, that interview with Jarrell Poe, that was fantastic. I lived day by day waiting for that guy to get eligible, however many, 20 years ago, whatever it was, now 15. And, man, to see where he's at now, and, Ole Miss ought to roll that guy out on the field and, put him in front of people. That was awesome, Neal. Really good job.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I've
Really
known
good.
Jarrell for a long time. Like I told him, and I don't know whether he remembers it or not. When I was in Mobile, they sent me to Hargrave for a few days.
I heard you say that.
I flew to Greensboro, North Carolina, if I remember correctly, and drove up to Hargrave.
Virginia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and spent a couple of days up there and talked to a whole bunch of kids like Jarrell and remember Keelan Williams?
Mm-hmm.
Keelan Williams was up
Yep.
there, and there was a basketball player who ended up at Georgetown. I did something with him, and it was different.
Well,
it was a different world.
It's look, a lot of young people, a lot of adults these days, but a lot of young people they need to hear that story about sticking to something and not giving up and perseverance
And not getting bitter, because he would have had
Not getting
every
bitter.
excuse to be bitter. But Jarrell, you know what's funny about Jarrell? Here's not funny. I don't know. It's a lot of words. Funny, sad,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
pisses you off, a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
Is that people tried to portray Jarrell like he was dumb.
Yes, yep.
And Jarrell is anything but dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrell's very intelligent. Now, he's got that country accent that's deep drawl. And, he's a big guy. And if we're being full disclosure, there was prejudice because he's African American. But Jarrell, when you talk to him, and I remember talking to him at Hargrave and thinking, whoa, wait a minute. This is nothing like what is being stereotyped. Mm-hmm. Yep. This guy's smart. And then I had the pleasure of covering him at Ole Miss, and God, he was fun to cover. I mean, he really was. He was so much fun to cover. And you could talk to Jarrell about football and get really good answers. And then you could talk to Jarrell about frying catfish and get these super fun answers. And he knew your name. It was back in the days when the players knew us, and we knew the players. I've talked about this. I've covered a couple of teams that I really loved, the people on them. One was the 2008 Ole Miss team. One was the 2000 Auburn team. Ben Leard and Alex Lincoln and Rudy Johnson and those guys. God, that was a good group of human beings. And we don't get that anymore. We don't get to know the kids anymore. They don't know our names. But back then, like I remember Rob Pate walked into the media room at Auburn in 2000. Auburn was getting ready to play for the SEC title against Florida, I think. I don't know, it's been a minute. And he comes in and he tells us, it was me and Charles Goldberg were in there in the Auburn football office, and we were working in the media room. And he comes in and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about writing this book about the truth about college football. And we're like, Rob, you don't need to do that, man. I mean, you're going to get killed. And he's like, no, I want to write it because the 20-hour rule is a joke. And, Rob's now an optometrist in the Birmingham area. And, I remember that relationship. He knew our names. He knew I was Neal. He knew Charles was Charles. He knew what papers we worked for and stuff like that. And Jarrell Poe knew our names. Like, the other day when I reached out to Jarrell, he's like, hey, Neal. He knew exactly who I was. I mean, all these years later. And
could tell.
And these kids now, they don't know who we are. It's totally different. I get it. It's fine. It's not. And by the way,
about the bottom line.
And it's not about access. It's really not, because I've said this all. I've never complained about access. I never will. I don't really care, but I do miss that part of it where the kids know who you are, and like I'll give you an example. And forgive me for taking your call over.
No, you're good. Look, that's awesome.
Bo Wallace in 20. Hell, I don't know.
Which one?
Michael Casagrande.
13. It was 14.
14. 14?
No, it was 13.
13.
It was 13.
The year they lost. Michael Casagrande asked Bo Wallace a question about playing Alabama.
It was 13.
And Bo said, yeah, we're trying. Basically, we're planning to win the game. Because why else would you go play, right? I mean, it wasn't disrespectful.
He didn't say we're going to kick the hell out of Alabama.
Yeah, he wasn't like, hey, those guys suck. We're going to crush them. It was well. I mean, we're
the goal is to win.
The goal is to win. We're playing to win the game, and okay.
You would have thought he kicked the mother or something.
Yeah, and they destroyed him. And a couple of weeks later, Bo comes back in, and he didn't want to do the media thing. But he looked up, and he saw me, and he saw a couple other guys that he knew, maybe David Brandt or whoever it was, and he's like, those guys didn't do it. Those guys have always been fair to me. Yeah. They've always been good to me. We've always had a respectful relationship. You could see his mind working, and he did it. And he didn't like it, and he didn't want to do it, and he wanted to treat us like crap, but he didn't. And I always respected it. But now guys don't know who we are. And so there's no perspective, right? There's no nuance at all to the relationships that we have with the people that we cover. And it kind of sucks. But I don't want to say that it sucks, because if I say that it sucks, someone construes that as me complaining about it, and I'm not.
Well, it kind of is what it is. I mean, look, it's all about the bottom line these days. I mean, when ESPN took over the whole thing, everything, it is, but we got more money now. I mean, I can remember going when it looked like dirt roads going up there, when I was a kid. So,
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you guys, really enjoy it. Keep up the great work, and it could be a really, really special weekend in Oxford this weekend. So,
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
appreciate it, guys.
Speaking of some O stories, speaking of just podcasts and whatnot, Brian with Ruby Wrights will be out in the morning. He tracked down Travis Johnson, former Ole Miss player.
Oh,
who,
wow. What a good get.
Intercepted the first pass of the LSU game in 03. He's got plenty of stories from O and during the Cutcliffe era, so that on Brian's podcast tomorrow.
Big thanks to Dax Barron for the super chat. Appreciate that. Webb as well. He says, for a toast to 3, nothing harder in life than putting your dog down. I can't tell all of y'all how great it is to have this show. Thank you. Thoughts on the next career for Coach O's top 3, Cajun Gigolo, Crawfish Farmer, or AD at ULM? I think he's done coaching. I think he's going to go into media.
That's what I keep hearing. I actually watched a good bit of Moscona's show. I've checked with a couple other people. There's been a lot of some semblance of broadcast work for Orgeron, of all things.
I hope so. I hope he does something that he can have some fun. Yeah, 23 for SMU is going to miss the first half of the next game.
He should get kicked out for just wearing the black undershirt. It screws up a great
Yeah,
looking
it does
uniform.
screw up a great uniform. That was definitely targeting.
Or the,
Dodgers
going
and
bottom
Braves
4.
going to bottom 4. Dodgers are really using that bullpen up, though. They're going through arms. It's 4-2 Dodgers. They should pile on if they want to win this game.
Feels like they need an offense game
Yeah.
to go down the list.
Got a sneaky feeling Atlanta's going to score some runs.
Yeah, I don't think they're done for the day.
No. You know what? Ed Orgeron would make a great Corso. Be a nice addition to that show. Coaches like Orgeron. Kiffin likes Orgeron a lot.
This was back in May, so nothing had just happened. But I see on ESPN that remember Texas linebacker Jake Etlinger died.
Yeah.
It was an accidental overdose. How they phrased that today.
One of Campbell's really good friends at Arkansas was one of his best friends.
Xanax laced with fentanyl.
Yeah,
That's what they've.
that sucks. Yeah, one of our good friends is from that area, and they're buddies. They were buddies. That's a shame. He was 20?
Let's see. Age. Yes, he was 20.
Yeah,
Younger brother, obviously, of Sam.
that sucks. Yeah, I mean, Orgeron's a character.
Sure.
He'd have fun. He could do some fun things. Because the Corso character, you're not going to find something. You're not going to say, hey, like Chase said the other day, it's not going to be this guy's not going to put on the mascot head. It's going to have to be something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it at all this morning because we were obviously busy. The 6 schools who have joined the FAU, Charlotte, North Texas, UTSA, Rice, and UAB.
It's a good get for UAB going to the American.
Oh, they're not saying they're the big winner in it, but I feel like they're the team of that list, and I guess I could think through it for a minute, that has the best chance to really kind of emerge and become bigger by joining. It's like I just don't see North Texas doing a ton or something like that. Although UTSA's put together one hell of a football season.
Grind, did I miss your call?
Yo, what's up, my guys?
Sorry about that. I didn't have that. There's a lot of different windows that I have to have up, and I didn't have that one up, and I saw that I missed your call. How are you?
Oh, you good, man? I'm doing good, man. I'm about to get ready to step out the house in a little bit in my new I Heart the SEC office shirt. You know, just came in the mail yesterday.
Yeah, you should heart the SEC office. They've been good to you.
I knew you was gonna say something, man. Man, why you had to do that on that caption, man? Why you?
Because he fumbled. He fumbled the ball.
He did not fumble, man. His forward progress was already stopped, and you can't pick the man up. Look, like somebody said,
but that's not what they called on the field. It's like the listen. It's like the corral call. Ole Miss fans aren't going to like this, but the call on the field was fumble. It was a touchdown for Tennessee.
But it shouldn't have been because Corral wasn't moving. His forward progress was stopped.
Because he stopped moving. Nobody stopped his movement.
Nobody said, "Hey, Matt, you must stop the movement." He stopped moving, but hold on. Matt stopped moving. Hold on. Matt stopped moving because he thought he heard a whistle. And while he probably did hear a whistle from row 4, it wasn't a whistle on the field. And at the end of the day, and I know Ole Miss people are going to hate me for this, they blew the call. And in the Auburn game, they didn't blow the whistle, and so the defender for Arkansas, who picks him up and strips the ball, was completing a tackle.
No, that is not. Look, Arkansas wanted to pick Jarquez Hunter up and just carry him around the field till he fumbled. The school with the farm animal on their heads wanted to do that. Wanted to just pick Jarquez Hunter up, walk him around the field and just shake him up and down till he fumbled.
That is such a disingenuous. That is such a false portrayal of how that play occurred.
Your next shirt, Grind, just needs to be like Mark Curl's like silhouette, kind of like the NBA logo, and it's pointing in a direction.
Come on.
I need like one of the little Greek statue paintings.
Yeah. Or a whistle thing with like the Ghostbusters thing through it, like there is no whistle.
Well, I pay respect to Mark Curls. I make sure to put a big old shell over his private farm.
You should. You should. I mean, that is Arkansas's football on the 15-yard line. It just is, and they blew it. I mean, and I get why Arkansas is upset. I don't blame them.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this. Then, if the football guys would have told Sam Pittman before the game, before he walked out into the field, that look, man, y'all was finna outrush Auburn by over 100 yards. Traylon Burks was finna have over 100 yards receiving. KJ Jefferson gonna have over 300 total yards, and you're gonna run 8 or 9 offensive plays, and Auburn's only gonna run 61. And also, Auburn's gonna be more penalized than you.
Yeah, he would have said they won. He would have been thrilled because, but what his one of
and
his
they lost by 15. Auburn owned that game and didn't even play that well, really.
Yeah, Bo Nix played really well.
Yeah, Bo Nix played well, but Auburn gave up like 7 or 8 conversions or 37.
Yeah, Auburn's defense is really pedestrian. I mean, as by Auburn standards. And I covered Auburn for 6 years. Then I was a columnist for another 4. I've been to a ton of Auburn games, and this is a pedestrian Auburn defense. But give Bo a ton of credit, man. He played. If Bo Nix plays an average football game, they lose. He played so well. I know he gets beat up a little bit by, not you, but parts of that fan base beat him up and sometimes he deserves it. But on Saturday in Fayetteville, he played really well. On a day when, had he not played really well, that would have been a different game.
True. You're right about that. I think, Ole Miss, I think it's going to be a fun game on Saturday, but I think Ole Miss is going to end up pulling one out. And I think it's going to be, setting up a big matchup. How y'all, I saw y'all score predictions and everything, but I'm just trying to see exactly how y'all see the game playing out and everything.
Ole Miss is so banged up, even worse than I thought when I put the score in, that I might have changed the score had I known a couple things now.
I still think I would have picked Ole Miss. I've watched LSU enough to know that LSU's not very good. I've watched LSU's defense enough to know that had Florida not had some dumb turnovers last week, they score 60, 70 points. Literally, they could have scored 70 points. I think Ole Miss will score a ton of points and ultimately win the game. I think it's going to be more of a shootout than Ole Miss really wants. I think the line's too high, especially at 9.5. The line's too high. And listen, I might change my tune by this time next week, but I don't think so. I don't like the Ole Miss at Auburn matchup at all for Ole Miss.
See, man, you say that, but if Matt Corral is on the field, I don't like our safeties. I think our safeties might be the weakest link on the team. That's why all those conversions happen.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't like I said. I think your defense is pedestrian, and I think your secondary kind of sucks.
Yeah, like the only reason why the defense is pedestrian because the D line is able to get after it and make some plays.
Yeah, and that's
They
part
had
of my
the
deal.
fumble against KJ.
And here's part of my reason that I'm a little worried about Saturday in Oxford is that LSU's defensive line has real talent. Like Smith, he's a stud now, and they got good players. And I'm a little concerned about whether Ole Miss's offensive line can hold up, and I think Chase is too. I'm a little bothered by that. And then Auburn gets a week off, and so let's say Ole Miss wins a shootout. That would be shootout wins over. So it would be in 4 consecutive weeks. It'd be a physical game against Alabama, and then shootout wins over Arkansas, Tennessee, and LSU. At some point, the tank runs out.
And look, Grind, I know you were.
It could just be the magical season.
I know you were all freaked out.
Like that.
Grind, I know you were all freaked out about LSU and going to Baton Rouge and winning that game and all the history. Do you know how many times Ole Miss has won a game at Auburn and in the entire series?
I'm trying to think. I mean, the last 2 times they won has been in.
They won in 99. Tuberville's first year, they won in 99. Eli won there in
15 is one of them.
In 15. They won in 15?
They won in 15. Chad Kelly won over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody beat Jeremy Johnson. But Texas A&M, they sorry ass. Everybody beat Jeremy Johnson.
But that was a historically good Ole Miss team. And this one might be too, but
my answer is 3.
Yeah.
They have won 3 games at Auburn in series history.
Yeah.
2003, the Obamano drop. 15, Chad Kelly.
And 99.
Now,
Romero Miller to Corey
it's a little
Peterson
bit of whatever because they won a game in Mobile in 1951 and Montgomery in 1949.
That changes everything.
Yeah, exactly. But no, in modern era, since they've played every year, that's it. That's all you got.
Yeah.
And here's the better part. Ole Miss during this, from 1993 to now, Ole Miss has won once, even in Oxford.
And that was
2008.
2008 that game, right? Or was it 2012?
8.
Yeah. Man.
Wait,
and my last thing before I let y'all
Ole Miss beat Auburn in 8.
I don't know who it was. It was one of y'all who was with me. But we had said, somebody was with me and said that Dan Mullen was going to be, like, basically more successful than Kirby at Florida. I'm trying to see who's going to step out on the ledge with me. Who's going to be out here looking dumb with me.
Mullen is going to be more successful than Kirby?
We had said that Kirby. We had said that one of us had said that Dan Mullen would be at Florida longer because he'll end up probably being more successful.
God, if I said that, then I just apologize. I mean, you do this enough, you're going to say stupid things, and if I said that was really stupid. God.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I'm like I said, man, just elaborate on what y'all think is happening in Florida because I mean, like. A lot of their fans want him gone, but I mean, I heard he signed a contract extension.
Yeah, he's not going to get
he's the next Mazon there.
Yeah, he's not gone. I think they're going to definitely make a change at defensive coordinator. They're going to pin this on what's his face, the defensive coordinator, and then at some point he's got to win. But
at some point you got to recruit better.
Well, here's the dirty little secret about Florida, right? I mean, you want the truth?
What's up?
Florida doesn't have the network that some of the other big boys have. They're not.
I was thinking that, man.
Florida's not as invested in the market, if you will.
I mean, nobody's Georgia. We're talking even like Tennessee, A&M.
Yeah, we're talking about a bunch of people.
But at one point, Florida was a better job than Georgia, right?
No, at one point, Florida had 2 historically great coaches. Steve Spurrier won everywhere he ever went. Urban Meyer, as much of a horrible human as he is, has won everywhere he's ever went. Urban Meyer won big at Utah. He won big at Florida. He won big at Ohio State. Urban Meyer was a really good college coach.
So you're saying the Georgia job, Kirby didn't make the Georgia job better than the Florida job. The Georgia job has been better than the Florida job. He just needed the right person is what you're saying.
Yeah, the Georgia job needed somebody who could activate the network in such a way that it would turn the job into something that it could be.
A machine.
Like Mark Richt is a really good guy, but probably not the guy that turns the machine on completely. The machine is on right now.
I mean, shoot, we done seen in the past 2 days, they done got 2 5-stars.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of get who they want. And this NLI thing is NIL, not NLI. NIL thing is so big, and they're so good at it right now. Like, you don't – I mean, Florida's starting to get into it because they're catching up. But, look, Florida is not as invested in the market as Georgia is, as Texas A&M is right now. Because, by the way, anybody that doubts it, Texas A&M is super invested right now.
Yeah, they are.
Alabama is super invested.
They so weird, man. Did y'all see, like, I put, like, one of the little chats that I had, like, copied and pasted from their message board about Jimbo, and, bro, when you read it, it sounds so cultish.
Well, it is a cult.
I mean, they basically, he was like, he's not leaving for LSU. He may not have realized this was home when he first got here, but he does now. Like, what?
They give him everything he wants. I mean, listen, if you're Jimbo and if you were to leave A&M for LSU, it would be fair for someone to say, why? What are you going to get at LSU that you don't get at A&M? They're giving him everything he wants.
And what if he says the national championship?
I mean, okay, but you're getting everything you want at A&M.
So you're saying just basically stay at A&M, because if you don't win a championship, everything will probably be all right. But if you don't win the championship at LSU, everything won't be all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last 3 coaches have won titles at LSU.
To a degree, sure. I mean, what happens if at LSU someone tries to do a power thing on you? At A&M, there's no question about who's in charge. It's Jimbo. I mean, if you've got a great deal and you leave it, I mean, there's the old cliche: if it ain't broke, well, it's not broke. It's weird as hell, and it's questionable whether you can do it there, but it won't be because of a lack of investment. Let's put it that way. I mean, if they need somebody to go, hey, step up and let's get this offensive tackle and NIL deal, it's done.
Yeah, their job's gonna be interesting to see how it turns into once Texas and OU join the league. It's gonna be interesting to monitor their job. But man, I'm gonna let you guys go and continue having a great show, man.
Thanks,
All right, appreciate it, Ryan.
All right.
I mean, I think when Texas and OU join, it's just going to be more of a world war, if you will. I don't think anything changes that much. I think it just gets, let's go. I don't think it's
the ones who aren't doing it. You're just farther in.
Andy Staples has a column out today. I think it was a column.
What's that?
Hang on real quick. We'll get to you in a second. Basically, what makes you think the NCAA has teeth right now? If you're not going for it right now, why not? Because you have some sense of morality?
It's the most overused and lack of context quote is, well, they bought him. Well, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Why are you not buying him? I mean,
match that, find a way to match it, and then it does become about recruiting. Because
there was a conversation about an SEC basketball coach the other day. Like, he's buying players. I'm like, well, of course he's buying players. So? I mean, duh. Why are you not buying those players? Is it because you don't have the money? Because it's excusable. If it's because, well, you just think you're better than that, well, good luck when you get your ass beat by 22. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Gavin in Tupelo.
Hey, Gavin.
So what do you guys think it's going to take Saturday for Ole Miss to boat race LSU?
To boat race them?
Mm-hmm.
You got to jump on them early, make them quit. Get them completely out of their running game where they're trying to catch up through the air. He's susceptible to making some bad decisions. Maybe you get a pick six or you get a couple of turnovers in plus territory, and all of a sudden the game is out of control. And then they look around and they look at their coaches and go,
and they don't care. You
sons of bitches aren't going to be here in a month. I really don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's true. And also, how monumental is it for this to getting Arch?
How monumental is it for who to get Arch?
for Ole Miss to get Arch?
Oh, it'd be huge. I mean, listen.
In so many ways.
In so many ways. It's we're not going to be the ones that do this. If they don't get Arch, it's a big blow. It's not the end of the world, and we're not going to write the column that goes, "Oh my God, that's it, shut it down." But yeah, it's a big loss. He's a very high profile player. He might be the one player in college football, and he's not even in college football, but he might be the one guy that I can think of right now. I'm sure there's somebody else, but who's bigger than NIL, meaning that he can get the big NIL deal.
The national deal comes no matter where he's
anywhere. Like he could get it obviously at Georgia or Texas, but he could get it at Ole Miss, or he could get it at Missouri, or if he decided for whatever reason to go to Iowa State, for example, he'd still get the big NIL deal. And there aren't many guys that are like that are bigger than NIL, but he is because of his name.
Right. I also think Arch could take Ole Miss to the next level, to be quite honest.
He takes him to the next level in terms of NIL right off the bat, right?
Like Brian says he has coattails. I mean,
yeah, what kind of player is he? I mean, we'll see. I mean, look, he's still got a ways to go. If you watch him play high school ball, you can tell he's not ready to walk into an SEC lineup right now today, take the ball and march you to a win on the road in the SEC, but he's also 16 or 17, whatever he is. There's plenty of time, but he'll have huge coattails. He makes your program super high profile the moment that he signs. So, yeah, there's a lot there. It's complicated, but, yeah, there's a lot there.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank
you. Okay, thanks. Braves turn 2, going to the 6th.
Yep. We're in a minute.
Oh, it was just 2 outs. I'm sorry. For some reason I thought it was 3. All right, so we've got a lot of content coming your way. Big War Room in the morning. There's a lot on the website. There's a lot on this podcast channel. Don't forget the MPW Digital pregame show. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you're not a subscriber to rebelgrove.com, we would love it if tomorrow you'd hit that button. We're really close to another really big milestone that we never thought we would reach, probably. Like, we're super close. And if you'd like to subscribe, it's the same price that it was when James Madison was president. So, yeah, we'll take one last call. This is like last call. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Cole.
Hey, Cole, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. Hey, so I was wondering at this. Do y'all remember when Edo got the job and he said he had 2 binders full of things he had learned and like mistakes he had made?
Correct.
Primarily at Ole Miss that he would get on with. Like, I really want to see what's all in those binders. Like, is it, not tackling Red Bull machines and ripping off your shirt and all of the things that he's most recently done?
Everything he'd most recently done, and what's funny about it is everything in the binder, or not everything, I don't know what's in the damn binder, but 19, even though he had the talent and the coachings, he followed it, and he couldn't just stay with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he got coordinators and trusted them and got out of the way and just was a sane human being. But as soon as the pressure ramped up, he went the other way. I mean, it was what Moscona was talking about yesterday on his show, and I believe him, that Ed is really good when there's no pressure and there's nothing really on it per se, where you're an interim or you're this and it's whatever. But as soon as it becomes the guy or the contract gets tight or something goes on, he can't follow that rule anymore. Suddenly it goes all the other way and he loses his damn mind.
Yeah.
So on the same line, do y'all remember when Derek Mason, like in his second year, said he found his play sheet on what to do when, and that's why he didn't have a good season the first year?
I do kind of remember that.
I recall that. Yeah.
It's a really funny story. I should look back at it. He's like, man, like I've been looking for it everywhere. Like, I mean, like wrote this whole thing. Like this saved his careers. Like this play sheet.
Not everybody's meant to be a head coach. That's not an insult. Like Ed Orgeron's meant to be a recruiting coordinator who coaches defensive line. Derek Mason's a very good defensive coordinator. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's to go run a program, and a lot of times you just don't know until you give somebody the keys, whether they can do it or not.
Yeah. Well, Megan says hello.
Hey, Megan.
She's hanging out here watching with us. She had mentioned earlier, I think Ginger said it in the thread that, Alabama can't retire numbers because, there are only 99 of them. So
that's true.
It's true.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, Ole Miss by 21 this weekend.
Okay.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. Later, Cole.
I will say this: if Ole Miss wins by 21, it'll be one hell of a post-game show for us. That'll be a lot of fun. Believe me when we say that
it's beneficial.
That would be good. That would be good. All right, I've got something to do. That's the reason we're cutting it a little short. It's not Chase this time. It's me. It's not Chase falling asleep. It's me. I know Chase is wide open, but I've got to go help my mom with my dad, if I'm honest. So he had knee replacement today, so I'm going to go help. So we're going to shut it down. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for making us a part of your week. We say that all the time, but we really appreciate it. We will have a War Room up in the morning, and then we'll have the MPW Digital postgame show brought to you by Walk-Ons as soon as the game ends on Saturday. Have a great weekend. If you're traveling, be safe. And we'll make this the Friday morning podcast, and we'll talk to you on Saturday. Until then, have a great weekend. Take care.